So what is photosynthesis? Well, if you've taken a biology class or maybe just read the Wikipedia page, you'll know that it's the process by which green plants and some other organisms use sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide to create their own food in the form of glucose and release oxygen as a byproduct. In other words, this equation, sunlight, water, CO2 gives glucose, O2. The first ingredient is sunlight. Plants can't create their own light source like the sun does, so instead they capture light energy using structures called chloroplasts. Plants obtain water from the soil through their roots and also from the earth through tiny pores on their leaves called stomata. These pores can open and close to allow for the exchange of gases and water vapor. First, plants absorb light energy using their chloroplasts. Water is split, meaning it breaks apart into hydrogen and oxygen. This reaction requires light and water and produces oxygen, ATP and NADPH. Think of these products as energy currency that will be used in the next stage. Chlorophyll absorbs light best at these two wavelengths, which is why plants appear green to us. Protists that perform photosynthesis are called algae, and they are an important source of oxygen and food in aquatic ecosystems. Photosynthesis is crucial for sustaining life on Earth because it is the primary source of energy for almost all ecosystems. Producers, such as plants and algae, use photosynthesis to create their own food, which in turn provides energy for consumers, such as herbivores that eat the plants and carnivores that eat the herbivores. Without photosynthesis, there would be no food or oxygen to support the vast array of life on our planet. And while we still have much to learn about it, we know that it's essential for life as we know it. Check out this video to find out. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, hit like and subscribe so you never miss an exciting science lesson. And if you have a question you want answered, leave it in the comments below because here at SciShow, we love answering your questions. So next time you see a plant, take a moment to appreciate the incredible process that's happening inside its leaves. Cyanobacteria, on the other hand, are photosynthetic bacteria that were likely responsible for the great oxidation event that occurred around 0.4 billion years ago. This event led to the accumulation of oxygen in Earth's atmosphere, which allowed for the evolution of aerobic respiration, essentially the process that allows us to breathe and gave rise to complex life as we know it. Today, however, there are some pigments called accessory pigments that can absorb light at other wavelengths and funnel the energy to chlorophyll. Carotenoids, for example, absorb light in the blue-green region of the spectrum, and xanthophylls absorb light in the blue and violet regions. For example, the agricultural industry relies heavily on photosynthesis because plants that are grown for food, such as crops, depend on it to produce their own food. Similarly, the forestry industry depends on photosynthesis for the growth of trees that are harvested for timber. Furthermore, photosynthesis is a key factor in climate change because plants absorb carbon dioxide during photosynthesis. By reducing the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, they help mitigate the greenhouse effect and global warming. These pigments can be seen in the fall when leaves change color because the green chlorophyll breaks down and reveals the other pigments that were already present in the leaf. Therefore, understanding photosynthesis is crucial for developing strategies to address climate change and ensure the sustainability of our planet's ecosystems. ATP is a molecule that stores and transfers energy, and NADPH is a reducing agent that helps carry high-energy electrons. Carbon dioxide enters the plant through the stomata and combines with hydrogen to form glucose. The oxygen produced as a byproduct of this reaction is then released back into the atmosphere. When stomata are open, plants can absorb carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, and when they close, they prevent water loss through evaporation. Speaking of carbon dioxide, that's our third reactant. Plants absorb carbon dioxide directly from the atmosphere through those same stomata. It occurs in the stroma, which is the fluid outside the thylakoids within the chloroplast. This reaction doesn't require light directly but does use the products from the light-dependent reaction, specifically the ATP and NADPH, along with carbon dioxide. The Calvin cycle uses these energy currency molecules to synthesize glucose. Chloroplasts are membrane-bound organelles found within plant cells that contain a green pigment called chlorophyll, which gives plants their iconic color. The first product is glucose. This is a type of sugar that serves as food for the plant, providing energy for growth, reproduction, and other essential functions. Remember how I said that plants use sunlight to capture energy? Well, that energy gets stored in the bonds of the glucose molecule for later use. The second product is oxygen, which is released into the atmosphere as a byproduct of the reaction. Oxygen is essential for the survival of many organisms, including humans, and it's produced as a result of photosynthesis. Chlorophyll molecules absorb light energy mainly in the blue and red portions of the visible light spectrum while reflecting green light, which is why we see plants as green. If you want the slightly more detailed version, here's the balanced chemical equation for photosynthesis. Now don't worry, you don't need to remember this, but you might recognize some of these components from the previous simplified equation. Let's take a look at how they all fit together to make our world go round. Let's start with the left side of the equation, the reactants, which are the ingredients that are present before the reaction. Now let's focus on the second reactant, water. Alright, now let's move on to the right side of the equation and talk about the products, which are the things that are present after the reaction. Now that we have all the pieces, let's put them together and see how it all works. There are two main stages of photosynthesis. The first stage is the light-dependent reaction, which occurs in the thylakoids, which are the membranous sacs within chloroplasts. The second stage is the light-independent reaction, also known as the Calvin cycle or sometimes misleadingly as dark reaction. One important thing to note is that photosynthesis can occur in different colors of light, such as blue and red, but not green because plants reflect green light. Plants aren't the only organisms that perform photosynthesis. Some protists and some bacteria also have the ability to capture light energy and synthesize their own food. Now that we know what photosynthesis is and how it works, let's talk about why it's important. In addition to its ecological importance, photosynthesis also has significant implications for human society. However, deforestation and other human activities can disrupt the balance of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, leading to an increase in global temperatures and other climate change-related problems. As you can tell, photosynthesis is one of the most important processes on our planet. Speaking of incredible processes, how does cellular respiration work?